Greetings, rail fans, foamers, ferroequinologists, and locomaniacs. It's Big Boy Day, June 6th, 2026, and we are at Edgerton, Indiana, waiting for Big Boy to come. It should be leaving Fort Wayne behind me in about 30 minutes or so, so we've got plenty of time to set up. We are hoping that the weather that you see behind me is going to hold off for the day, and we'll see how the day goes. When my son joined our expedition at the last moment, we became a father, son, grandson crew for the Big Boy event. We arrived at this grade crossing just west of Edgerton, Indiana, some 30 miles to the east of Fort Wayne, around 8:30 a.m., after driving more than 100 miles through sometimes torrential thunderstorms. Before we could get our gear out, a westbound Norfolk Southern freight greeted us, followed shortly thereafter by a second, which we did manage to capture. Then we waited, while the clouds grew more ominous and the crowd at our chosen location grew larger and larger. Soon we were sent scurrying to our vehicles as the skies opened up and lightning struck way too close for comfort, but the crowd kept coming. Thankfully, the deluge slowed to a sprinkle and soon stopped altogether right before the mighty steamer appeared, as the cameras of some 60 or more soggy rail fans blurred into action. Then the race was on. As I described in a previous video, we knew that the crowd of rail fans would overwhelm the main highway that parallels the former nickel plate main line. So our goal was to carefully select out-of-the-way photo locations, get there ahead of the train, and utilize the grid of county and township roads in this part of Indiana and Ohio to leapfrog around the crowds. But note to future self, Google Maps does not seem to differentiate between roads that are paved, gravel, or even grass. So our backroad adventure was far more exciting than expected, while dodging mud puddles large enough to swallow semi-trucks, so-called paved roads that were rougher than corduroy, and an unexpected dead end appeared as our planned escape route was marked "Road closed when wet?" What's up with that? Nevertheless, we did manage a bit of an unexpected pacing shot near Worstville and managed to find a location near Laddie, Ohio to pull off and park. Knowing we would need a quick exit to beat the traffic, we didn't want to get too close to the crossing at this location. From here, it was critical that we made our way back to Ohio Route 613 and crossed the Little Auglaize River at Melrose and Oakwood ahead of the train in the parade of chasing cars, which we did successfully. But our planned photo spot at Oakwood was already overwhelmed with people, so we hopped back on the back roads and got as far ahead of Big Boy as possible. We selected a promising looking spot just east of the whistle stop in Continental, Ohio, just as the sun came out. When we arrived, there were already some 50 or so rail fans on the site, but by the time the train arrived, that number grew to several hundred on both sides of the grade crossing, and parked cars lined up on Ohio 613 all the way back toward Continental. This is where our plans for the day completely fell apart. As we worked through the parade of cars to get back to our planned escape route, local authorities closed the road we intended to use, forcing us back into the parade of traffic that at this point I estimated to be about 4 to 5 miles long. However, we soldiered on, nearly catching the train again at Macomb, Ohio, but the traffic here added even more to the parade, which I would estimate now was almost 6 miles long behind the train. Even our township back roads were now bumper to bumper, and ultimately we arrived at Fostoria some 30 minutes after 4014 had already departed. The chase was over. So, what did we learn? Well, in general, our plan to stay away from congested areas such as New Haven, Continental, and Fostoria worked. We did manage to catch 4014 in 3 stationary locations, although one of them was a little farther away than we would have liked. But the crowds were even larger than I anticipated, and the traffic was much worse than I anticipated. And so when 4014 comes back in July, my plan is to count on no more than 2 photo locations between Fostoria and Fort Wayne. If we get a third, that would be a nice bonus, but by concentrating on 2 and getting there extremely early and going even farther out of the way to get around the crowds, we should make it with 2 good locations where we can get up close to the engine and get some good up-close pictures. Another thing that I learned was that the UP Steam Tracker mobile app, at least on my phone, was running about an hour behind actual time. So actually the good old Bearcat scanner was a lot more informative as far as where the train was located at any given time than the UP mobile app was. So check back in July and see if my plan 2 works better than plan 1. Until then, take only photos, leave only footprints, Be safe out there and happy chasing. Oh, wait. Be sure to visit our landing page at moreoriginalmultimedia.com, where you can find links to recent video uploads on all of my YouTube channels. You can find channel branded merch, and you can find links to all of our channel sponsors who make these videos possible. And please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel so that YouTube knows that you like this kind of content. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you next time.